Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl, Coach Kiki, back with another video. And let's just get this out of the way. 2020 has been freaking real. I mean, wow. So, in this video, I wanted to talk about 3 ways that I've been able to stay grounded during the crisis that is 2020. I use that term a little bit in jest. I believe that while it may feel like a crisis, it's more of a transformation type of period. So everybody's going through this growth, these changes. The world is going through this growth. There's things that needed to be said that are being said now. There's action being taken. There's movement. There's so much going on. And guys, we're only 6 months in. Barely. So the quarantine, the social distancing, the wearing of the mask, the constantly washing our hands, the lack of toilet paper, all that stuff we went through. And now we're here with the Black Lives Matter movement, the protests. We're also in Pride Month now, and there's also protests and movements in those directions. And then Anonymous coming back on the scene, and all of these different things that have happened in the past 6 months. It can affect you mentally. Like it can, let's be real, some of us have struggled, and there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with struggling or having a hard time coping with what's going on. It's actually quite natural to have emotions or feelings or thoughts and things like that. In the past, we went from a high-paced society to where everything was given to us right then, right there. Digital, everything, we thought everything was digital, but we had no idea how digital we could get until this pandemic hit, and kind of changed a lot of stuff for a lot of people, but it also isolated a lot of people. And sometimes when we are isolated and alone with our thoughts is when I like to call them creepy crawlies come out, those deep thoughts, those deep issues that we never really dealt with. We just kind of tucked away to a time when it was more convenient. Well, now with quarantine, social distancing, social isolation, those thoughts are popping right out of the box. So, with everything going on in your mind and externally, how the heck do you deal with this crisis? Some of us are having internal crisis, and to make just a video to share some good ways, very simple ways that you can remain as grounded as possible in the crisis of 2020. So my first tip for you guys is to reconnect with your spirituality. I know this is maybe a touchy subject. Some of you may not even believe in a higher being or any of that. Whatever you believe in, whatever you don't believe in, reconnect with it. If you believe that you are the center of the world and you are a God of your own, then reconnect with that version of yourself. Reconnect with that deep inner being that makes you who you are. So this is not a time for us to shy away from our spiritual guides or God or the universe, whatever you call it. Now is the time to reconnect. And when I say reconnect, I mean do it on a daily basis and do it with intention. Don't just kind of do it. I mean, get up and do it. The first thing you do related to spirituality. So for me personally, I prefer to meditate in the morning. I wake up, my alarm goes off. I remove my eye mask because, I'm a diva. And I sit in the dark because I get up so early, and sit in the dark and kind of think about. Sometimes I take my eye mask off because I'm a diva. And then I kind of sit there and I listen. Sometimes we don't have to think right away. Just listen. Just listen with an open mind and an open heart for whatever message I'm supposed to receive for that day. Sometimes it's a message of patience, or sometimes I wake up and I'm just angry, and then I meditate. So after I have maybe 1 or 2 minutes of awake silence, I meditate for about 5 minutes. So that's about 7 minutes of my morning, about the same amount of time that if you press snooze on an iPhone before it goes off again. So there's your meditation timer right there, right built into your alarm clock. So I do this, I get up, and then I start my day. Sometimes it's a little bit more in depth. There's something deeper. I may write it down. Some days I pray. Some days I also read affirmations. It just depends on what I'm led to do that day. I'm one of those that I feel like a lot of the answers we already know internally. Like we already know. Our intuition is very strong, but sometimes we are so headstrong that we don't want to listen. So this is our reconnection with spirituality on a day-to-day basis that gets us to sit down, listen, and purposely move through our day with a little bit more clarity amongst the chaos. The second thing is reduce negative exposure. Sometimes scrolling this social media, that social media, it seems like it's a good idea, but oftentimes it's not. Getting into arguments online with morons about their views and why they're wrong and all of this stuff, it just really takes away from the bigger picture. You can't change a person's mind going back and forth with 140 characters on the internet. But there's other options. So instead of spending your time arguing back and forth with people who just don't seem to get it, just kind of put your phone down. Do something that's more productive towards the cause that you're arguing about. Another thing, take a moment to acknowledge your emotions about the situation that you're in, about life, about whatever. If you're not happy at the moment, acknowledge that you're not happy at the moment. If you are happy, acknowledge that you're happy. One of the things I love doing is when I'm just in one of those moods, even after meditating and I'm headed out to work and to start my day, I try to find something beautiful in my environment, whether it's a bird or a flower or the mountains or anything, an oddly shaped branch on a tree. There's so much beauty. There's so many other things that we could focus on that kind of causes us to step back. So taking that time to seek beauty each day is also a way of getting some of that negativity, clearing the negativity cloud from up in there. That you should reconnect with your spirituality on a day-to-day basis and do it with intent and purpose. You should acknowledge your feelings and your emotions, whether good or bad, acknowledge them. I also talked about reducing and removing negative influences in your life. The next two things I want to talk about, because I'm a health and wellness advocate, coach, guru, whatever, is you need to stay active. So whether that's taking a walk outside in the nice, pleasant air, if you're allowed to exercise outside, Go take a walk or run, or I'm not going to tell you to play basketball or anything like that because right now everything's still closed. But do what you can. And sometimes doing what you can means taking on a new hobby. So in the case of where you were maybe an avid weightlifter, you may have had to settle for home workouts lately. And I'll tell you, as a weightlifter, home workouts just don't cut it. It don't feel the same. And I can say that wholeheartedly. I love being in the gym. I love picking up dumbbells. I love lifting weights. I love it so much. So I do understand how it feels to have that thing that we always thought would be there, that the gym was our rock. You know, as long as I have my gym, as long as I can go work out, I'm golden. I can handle anything. This pandemic took that away from us. This pandemic forced us to think outside of the box. What do you do when there's no gym? So then we started doing prison workouts, massive amounts of push-ups and sit-ups in our freaking bedroom next to the bed. Kind of like what I imagine would go on in prison. But anyway, we had to think outside of the box. We had to get creative. Some people used rocks, boulders, things like that to create makeshift gyms at home. And it's actually been such a beautiful experience to see facilities moving equipment outside. Lifting weights outside has been absolutely amazing, except for the bugs. I don't really like that part. But aside from that, it's been absolutely amazing. So, thinking outside of the box, getting fresh air, doing something, trying an activity that you haven't tried before. I'll tell you, if you're a runner and you decided to walk 20 miles, you're gonna be sore. If you were doing something else and you decided to walk 20 miles just for the sake of walking, I mean, that's a long way. You're gonna be sore. It's gonna be a good workout and you're gonna go through challenges. The point is, stay active. I really want to get into it here because that's not the goal of this video, but stay active. And then finally, what you've all been waiting for, eat good food. Eat healthy. Continue your healthy eating habits. In a time of crisis, we really want to emotionally eat. Like, you want grandma's cookies or Aunt May's cake or Aunt May's pie, or some good old soul food or anything, ice cream, those feel good comfort foods, baked macaroni and cheese. Oh my God. You want these things because of the emotions that are tied to it. You usually have these around happy occasions. Thanksgiving, Christmas, all these events, everybody's jolly, the family's together, everything's happy. That is the feeling we're going after when we decide to partake in emotional eating. But at the end of the day, it's just you and a box of macaroni in your kitchen by yourself. So, I won't say completely abandon your feel-good foods, but for the sake of staying grounded, continue your healthy diets. Continue to nourish your body with the best possible foods that you can right now, so that you don't have the guilt that comes along with emotional eating. Oftentimes we emotional eat, it feels good at the time, and then we're depressed. So, just to recap, since I've been rambling, ways to stay grounded, how I stay grounded in this 2020 crisis or transformational period in our lives. I suggest we reconnect on a daily basis with our spirituality. We acknowledge our emotions on a day-to-day basis, good or bad, and acknowledge the emotions we're facing. reduce or remove negative influences from her life, whether it's social media or people. Sometimes talking to Karen, she's kind of negative. You have to cut her out. Get outside, move around, get some sunlight, continue your exercise programs. Seek to find beauty in each day and enjoy good, nutritious, healthy foods. Okay, guys, thanks for watching. That is my time. I will see you guys in the next video. Toodles.